Setup is not giving what it needs to give. This phone is heavy. So I was on Medium, and you guys know I have a column. I'm a cultural columnist, and I educate communities. I share my observances regarding culture, my insights gleaned from the literature that I indulge, you know. And so I came on here really quick because I was thinking about where we find empowerment in our exploitation, right? There was a writer who spoke about rap culture, you know, female rap culture, black female rap culture. And she just wanted to know, you know, what is it about the culture that's empowering? And she found in her research that there were people who found the music empowering. They felt as though, you know, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, this music gives Black women power, right? And a sense of pride and things like that. And you know, it's amazing. This is what one side was saying. It's amazing to, you know, be compensated and to take basically their power back in their own hands, right? She talked about Black women's sexuality and how, you know, we are relegated to the being of service of other people, which I thought was a pretty interesting point. But I think one thing that always confuses me about this parallel of Black women's empowerment and its relationship to sexuality is like, so when we think about the history of Sarah Bartman, like, do we view that as something in, you know, in which there was compliance, right? Do we think that Sarah Bartman was compliant with this? She was complicit in these acts. She wanted this and she was upset because she wasn't compensated, right? Like, I think, like, when I hear women come from these perspectives, I think it's selfish, right? So my entire, you know, issue with the rap industry is that, first of all, let me back it up because honestly, I have like several points to hit on, but I'm just hit on three for the sake of time. The first thing is the reason why we defend this stuff is because we have idols, right? When you look in black culture in American society, where can Black women really reign and be successful and have the same level of influence such as our entertainers, right? It doesn't really exist. You're not getting the same. It's just not the same. And it's one of those things in which there is absolutely no benefit for being a woman of like standard morale, like things like that's just not, there's no benefit in that. You even have like basketball players imitating the rappers. Like, you're a whole basketball player and you're wanting to act like, dress like the rappers and be like the rappers when you're in a category of your own. So there's no real role models here. There's no real leaders here, right? The women who are in the entertainment industry dominate everything. And we wonder why we have so much dysfunction. And then the sad thing is, like, it takes so long for us in generationally, right, to get to a place where we start to denounce this stuff and we start to be like, okay, hold up. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it may be empowering in terms of like, you know, boasting us with pride and like maybe a moment of self-esteem, but like, you do have to kind of grow to a point where you're like, okay, and you're starting to see it show up in your real life. Like, I'm seeing like, literally, I was downtown, there was this young girl, 16, you know, probably less than that, easily influenced by this music. She's walking around naked. What are you doing? Where's your mother? What is going on? Like, completely uncomfortable. But because it's the cool thing to do, because it's the popular thing to do, this is what happens. Okay. And I'm not saying this is a byproduct for, you know, harassment. But what I am saying is that you have a lot of young girls who are doing this stuff just because it's a trend, because they don't know no other way. So the problem with this is that because of the lack of role models and the lack of direction within the Black community, we no longer, we can't give way and leeway to entertainers to the point where we are allowing them to influence our children. We don't have enough influences for that. We don't have enough influences that we don't have enough role models for that. You know what I mean? We don't have enough, you know, stable homes and parents and things like that to be out here supporting the rappers. I'm sorry, because these are the ones who actually raise your children. 100%. We start talking about young Black girls and, you know, being abducted. You know what I mean? Being in, you know, trafficking and things like that. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we encouraging? So yeah, it may be, you know, a sense of pride. Okay, there may be a sense of pride to hear a nice beat and to hear, you know, but you also have to understand too, there's an entire industry that is built on literally keeping Black women pigeonholed in hypersexuality. Okay, so in what way is that empowering? And so my question for a lot of people who feel like this stuff is empowering, who feel like this is just what it is, like, this is what we need to just keep it as that. Because I'm not saying, right, I'm not saying at your own use. I'm not saying there hasn't been times I've been in the gym. I'm like, okay, this is, we get a good workout going. This is cool. But when I start to look around in my reality and it is very much evidently impacted by the music, what are we going to do? Right? We have to be able to say, okay, listen, hold up. This is where we draw the line. This is the boundary. We have to do something to let young Black girls know, okay, this is not the path that you want to go down. And because nobody wants to talk about it for whatever reason, because we have idols, right? We have idols. For whatever reason, the lifestyle is aspirational, right? Being controlled by multiple white male managers is aspirational. It's aspirational. It's what we all want. Okay. I don't know if it's the bags. I don't know what it is. And it's so funny. We say that it's empowering, but all they do is call us broke. All they do is call us broke. I kind of like, because it's like, it's so true. All they do is call us broke, hating bees, broke, da 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 da. That's why you broke. You took that boy back. They don't say boy, but I'm not gonna say it here. You took him back. You're broke. You're dusty. You're a bum. Y'all broke bees. Y'all always hating. Like, is it even empowering anymore? Because it's to be honest, it's no longer empowering. It's no longer empowering. We can't even say that it's empowering. All it does is keeps us competitive. It keeps us hateful towards one another. And it just literally leads our daughters into what? You tell me. You tell me what's the byproduct of that. Making them have really bad attitudes, making them disrespectful, growing up way too fast. Okay? So is it really Black women being in control of their bodies and their voice and combating with men? Is it really that though? Is it really that? Because it really doesn't give that. It doesn't give that. So I want to know. So do we interpret Sarah Bartman, do we interpret that as she was complicit, right? So we now think that there is empowerment and compliance. We say, okay, as long as we can control the spends, which we don't, do we say as long as we, are being paid and compensated, it's okay to be exploited? Like, is it okay to be exploited because we're being paid? Like, is that the thing? Because it's like, I don't see how we go from the argument being, oh, Black women are not in control of their bodies and their sexuality, to then saying, oh, okay, you know what I mean? It'll be okay if we can be in control, right? If we can be the ones who exploit ourselves, then we're okay with that. But you can't exploit us. You can't exploit us on your own time. We have to exploit ourselves, and then it's okay. So it's like, what is the argument there? It kind of contradicts itself. And it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand. And so what happens is this becomes the standard, right? This becomes the standard. And the sad thing is, the arguments of like, oh, this is so women can take back their control and their power, and they are combating with men who are also in this very, Luciferian, industry of entertainment that just puts nothing but filth in our communities. It's nobody else's community. It's okay. It's okay for the Black community, but it's nobody else, it's just okay for us. It's like, we're saying that, oh, okay, Black women can come out and combat that, and that's gonna but it's like, at the end of the day, all the dressing, all the influence, all of that is for the attention of men. So it's like, okay, which one is it? You know what I mean? Are we with them? Are we against? Like, it's like the music is just giving confusion. And then you have the rappers come out and say things like, oh, well, no, I wouldn't let my daughter do that. And oh, well, no, I don't let my daughter listen to my music. They hate you. You idolize them and they literally hate you. So yeah, you looking at me, I'm looking at you. We're all on the same playing field here, and you're idolizing them, and they literally hate you. They hate you. That's okay. They want your daughter to go out into the world, and you're at work, and her dad is gone, or whatever the case may be. They want her to be alone and naked in Walmart, walking around with her friends because she's listening to the music. But they don't want that for their daughter. Oh no, their daughter can't listen to the music. So it's like, at what point do we start to denounce these things? Like, we can't keep being so accepting. We can't, because the thing is, we're held to such a low standard. So yes, it's no longer about women's, taking control of their body. Because if that's your philosophy, okay, so when you say women taking control of their body, right? Okay, so it's okay for you to exploit yourself as long as you're paid, right? Being compliant to other people's ideas, that's empowering for you as long as you're being paid. Like, you're okay with being exploited. You're okay with complying to other people's ideas about you. You're okay with being hypersexualized as long as the money is going in your pockets. Okay, got it. That's empowering. Like, I'm confused. I would think that empowerment would be, you know what? Actually, you're not gonna get this. You're not getting it up. You ain't getting that up off me. Period. I would think that that would be more empowering. Like, I would think that nonconformity would be more empowering. And absolutely, it teaches young black girls that that's all they have is their bodies. That's it. Because you know what? The girls who are literally out here breaking, what if they just discovered the solution to a math problem? Literally, they couldn't solve it for 2,000 years. They're not getting half. They're not even giving a fraction, a portion, a slice of the pie of what the entertainers are getting. So yeah, that's the same thing. It's the same thing with young black boys, right? Same thing with young black boys. You know, and I don't know what the future holds. So everything I'm saying is very much humbly. I don't know if, hey, I don't know. But what I am saying is that we can't, I'm just saying, let's not act like let's not act like there's a direct correlation, right? Let's not act like these influences don't play a role in how we are psychologically developed and underdeveloped. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So you're grown. Do what you want to do at your own leisure. I think everyone who can even, attend this conversation, and, there's nobody on this live, but, you can very evidently see and realize, like, okay, I'm a grown person. Hey, I do what I want to do. Okay, I do what I want to do. But at the end of the day, you can very much evidently see how that music has an impact on you, especially today, right? The thing is, over time, it gets more and more normalized. There's more proxy, right? We have social media, so the proxy is so different. And we can't really speak to other people's cultures because other people's not infected by this. Other people aren't having these problems and these byproducts and the things that are taking place within American society. They're not having those problems. That music is not being influenced in their culture. They're not dealing with that. And the thing is, I'm not saying anything that's new under the sun. I'm just saying, let's just get a general understanding here about what empowerment is. And I'm just trying to understand why compliance would be empowering. Why is that, right? So understand that they're lying to you. Okay, understand that this is about $1. Okay, understand that they will sell your children for that coin. Okay, but they wouldn't do it for their own children. They wouldn't do it for their own children. So please understand that. So while you're defending them because it's your idol, they don't care about you. They're calling you broke and they're judging you. They're judging you. I mean, like I said, at this point, honey, it's not even empowering. We can't even advocate on all behalf of all women because all they do is call us broke. Broke, dusty bees. That's exactly what they call us. I mean, it's no longer empowering. It's not empowering. So I think we need to, just kind of, hey, you're here looking at me. We're all, hey, this is real. Okay, this is reality. This is the world in which we live in. So it's kind of just giving like, let's make an impact here. And I think at this point, when you talk about girls' depression and young teen girls having, very high suicide rates, right? I think we should probably look at what the standard of living is and the aesthetic on top of that. Because what's really happening is that they're completely being robbed of their souls and their innocence. And what is that, right? So it's bigger than that. It's so much bigger than that. And I think that they know that. And it's okay because they're being paid. But they wouldn't want that for themselves. They wouldn't want that for their children. But they want that for you and yours. So you have to really, ask yourself, like, we're so quick to stand by these idols. We're so quick to stand by, certain people. And it's like, they don't care about us. They don't care about us. I don't know why that's so hard. I think that's just so hard for us to fathom because it's just kind of like, dang, like, we love these entertainers. Like they make up, supposed, all this wealth and things like that. But it's like, do they care about you? They don't. They don't care about you. So, you should just really take that into consideration. And I think what's very unfortunate is because that is our only standard and avenue of success. For the rest of us, where does that leave us, right? That's why you have people who spend their whole life trying to be rappers, can't even rap, men and women. I mean, thank God that's like that fad has seemed to pass, but it's like now we're just kind of at this place where you have a lot of people succumbing to depression because they don't have things, So this is not really a matter of judgment, an expectation on other people's lives of telling them what they should and shouldn't do and how they should and give and how they don't give. No, this has nothing to do with that. This is just like be for real. Like, please be for real. And please be like honest with yourself, because I think a lot of us are really in denial about a lot of things. And I can honestly say though, like, had God not rescued me, I would have very easily been in that category. You know what I mean? I would have very easily have been in that category, because the thing about it is, just being like a black woman in American society, you don't really have a lot of avenues, right? Because a lot of the things that, this commentator was trying to address on Medium, in regards to this music being empowering and how black women don't have ownership of their, or liberty rather, of their sexuality, and how we can't talk about our accomplishments, and we can't, yeah, and that's all very valid, right? Like, being a black woman, this is why I said it's not empowering, because it's like, being a black woman, you're always told to keep your mouth shut. Be quiet. You know what I mean? Be quiet. Shut up. Shut it down. You know what I mean? We don't want to hear from you. But what we do want to, we want to see some things, right? We want to see some things, right? Shut up. Be quiet. We don't want to hear from you, but we do want to take a look. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's like, this bothers me, and I'm so passionate about it, because it's like, why is that empowering? To give people what they want as long as you're being paid? Are you crazy? No. And so I would think that the path of resistance would be like, speak. And sure, rap can do that in certain ways, but I'm just going to stay in my lane. To be honest, I personally am just not the person who's going to be like, we should break down rap lyrics and we should make, I just don't. I think that there's way too many books. I think that there is way too much knowledge and literature that has been kept from us, right? We've literally been denied the right to read. I think that that is carried for a lot of people in generations. Like, I just don't think that, we really have time to be given leeway, especially in today, right? We have, and then even just from American society, right? So you have African-American literature, you have learning about Black culture, all the things that we've been deprived of, the things that we haven't been taught that need to be taught, right? And then on top of that, you start looking into American institutions and just being an American and living in this country and, politics and things like that. So I personally just don't think we really have time to be implementing and partnering with entertainment, entertainment entertainers, let me say that. I don't think we have time to be partnering with them in our school systems, and even just in terms of education in general. It's a shame that at this point we've integrated the two. And what do they teach you? Do they teach you how to get a house? Do they teach you how to manage money? No, all they do is feed the spirit of envy that's in you, right? Because they flaunt the things that they know you don't have, because they too are, oppressed, right? They too have inferiority complexes. They want you to envy them, right? They want to literally get things to come. That person who used to just want to get things just to come and, crap on everybody else in the community and show other people, like, look what I got. They do that same thing. Like, they're not above that. And we look at them like they're our savers. They're the person who speaks for all of us, who represents all of us. You know what I mean? What about the young Black girl who, is incredibly intelligent? You know what I mean? What about her, who's being bullied in school because she doesn't have this, she doesn't have that, she doesn't want to be sexual? What about her? Y'all don't consider that, because in y'all minds, every Black girl, everybody is like this. This is trauma. This is giving trauma. We've had enough experiences where it's time to start addressing the trauma. It's time to start addressing the trauma, because it's just very evident that, like, there's just no way that can be the standard. You know what I mean? Dysfunction and dysregulation and trauma is our standard. So, for the women who don't want to partake in this and who don't believe, they're the ones who are like, oh, they're just, and it's like, how can we cast them away when they're the educated ones? If anything, they're the ones who know what's going on. If anything, they're the ones who can teach us about what's going on. Most of the people who are rebuttaling and refuting this, you're just coming from a space of an idol. You just want somebody to idolize. You just want somebody to look up to. And honestly, I feel like when we struggle with idols, it's because it's something going on within ourselves that we're not too proud of. And God's put a lot in you. We need to figure out, we got to start doing that internal work to figure out what is going on with me. Right? What have I been created to do that I'm not tapping into? Because the idol worship is crazy. It's literally crazy. It's literally crazy. So I think it's gone too far today. I think it's gone too far today. I think it's gone to the point of, like, just hopefully there's a return, but I mean, it has been the biggest thing that has plagued our community for years and years and years and years and years. And we got to get free. We have to get free. I always say that, they're just, the Bible talks about this, right? Like, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, right? But when I became a man, when I became, I put away childish things. And it's like, there just comes a point in your life where you really got to choose to grow. Did I partake in, yes, who didn't? You know what I mean? But there comes a point where you're like, okay, some changes have to be made to my life. Some changes have to be made, just in where I am. Like, it comes a point in time where you're like, I can't keep living and doing and being like this. Like, I got to change some things. You know what I mean? And the sad thing about, our communities and our culture is that we are so enabled in our childish ways. We're so enabled in, like, childlike things that may be okay for the youth. And, at this point, it's not even that, because, it's danger, right? And I think all of that can be eradicated with education, but nonetheless, right, entertainment is still reigning. And so, it just comes to a point where you're like, you know what, let's put away some things. Let's put away some things. Let's kind of grow. What does that look like? And the problem is, because you have so many people who are still nullified and enabled in that culture, in that entertainment, then we can never get to the education piece. We can never get over that. We can never get to the point where we're like, okay, you know what? I just think it's time to do something different. Like, okay, yeah. I did that when I was 23. I dressed like that when I was, 22. I did, you know what I mean? And honestly, to sidebar on the fashion piece, we are at a point in time now where I'm realizing that so much fashion, not just, I don't want to say black fashion, but a lot of these powerhouse, I mean, it's so expensive, right? When you start thinking about, like, dressing your age and things like that, you have to literally tailor it and go above and beyond because it's so expensive. I don't know who, so that part, I have a little bit of grace, because I think what's available and accessible to a lot of people as far as, like, garments is a more younger style, like fast fashion that's more affordable than maybe looking more, sophisticated or having a more elegant look. You have to be somebody who's very creative and very fashionable. And I am that. So I would definitely love to, like, do some type of series and show you guys, like, how to put some things together. But you feel great, honestly, when you're a woman and you are dressed in a way that is elegant. You feel very lovely, you feel very graceful, and you feel very strong and very powerful because people around you actually respond to that. It's so empowering when I walk in places and young men are like, yes, ma'am. They're not looking at my booty. They're not doing that. They're not saying what's up. I'm not getting the cat calls. I can't have that. I'm a grown woman now. You know what I mean? It was cute. It was cute when I was a girl. You know what I mean? But I'm a grown woman now. Absolutely not. And I'm married. So, but when I wasn't married and I was, becoming a woman, that was actually disrespectful. I'm like, what are you talking to? You know what I mean? But now, so it's like you have to realize, like, those are the things that are going to give you self-esteem, right? Those are the things that are going to feed your confidence, not the continual validation from the world, not continual validation from people who don't even care nothing about you. Whether that be, you dressing like the rap girls, or whether that be you, still, having that desire for the cat calls or what, you know what I mean? Like, no. You get to a point where you start to carry yourself like a lady. The head is high, okay? The head is high. You know what I mean? You're dressed in a way that's, you know what I mean? That's beautiful. Literally beautiful. Like, it's not even giving sexy. It's giving beautiful. Like, wow, you're stunning. It's striking. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because the people who are supposedly the role models, they're not going to give you that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, really, you can start looking at, because I think that this could also change your mindset, concerning rap culture. You can kind of look at it like being stuck in a time capsule, being stuck in the age of 21. You know what I mean? Like, being stuck in club culture. You know what I mean? That's how you can kind of look at it, right? And I think that's why, for me, it's like I have such a hard time understanding why there are some older people who just still admire this culture. And it's like, it was a time capsule. It was a time. It was like, you know what I mean? And I think when you start talking about generations, I think it's different. Depending on where you grew up, there was still a boundary with that music. Like, you wasn't walking outside carrying yourself a certain type of way. Like, your parents, your grandma, back in the day, community members, right? They wasn't having that. And they were like, okay, girl, you showing all your stuff. You know what I mean? That was a level of shame that used to come on you. You know what I mean? I remember I used to wear little crop tops. I would wear a hoodie zipped up before I walked out the house because I knew that was you know what I mean? Like, back in the day, that was a bit much. You know what I mean? That was a bit much. But we're at a place today in society where it's like, do your thing. you know, have your way. So anyway, I think that there was a time capsule. I think that, you know, the culture in itself is a time capsule, and I think it keeps a lot of people stuck in that loop. And it just doesn't really require a lot of thought. And I think that Black women are capable of so much more. And you can do it. You can do it. And you can be anything you want to be. So why relegate yourself to something that is not only expected of you, but something that, you know, exploits you? It doesn't really make any sense. Compliance, to me, will never be empowering. So go back and check out this whole live. And if you know, got something from it, let me know. You know, but I think that this was really good. And next time, you know, I'll kind of stay on here a little bit longer, to, you know, maybe see more people coming in. But yeah, so I definitely think I can do that, right? I'm definitely not someone who likes to point to the problem and give a few solutions, you know, especially when I'm, you know, talking like the way I'm talking. So I would love to do a little series, show you guys how to dress fabulously, on an affordable budget. I can do that. I'm very creative. So this was great. This is great. Go back and check the whole live out. Yeah, bye.